I went for a walk with Steve this morning and we sat down and had a coffee and we decided to have a macchiato without oat milk because we're always experimenting with things, tweaking them. This was after we'd been to St. Haven, which is a beautiful wellness club here in Melbourne. I'd done cryotherapy and then actually hopped into the sauna and did the cold plunge and back into the sauna. um, had a beautiful breakfast and we were sitting there having coffee, our macchiato with a splash of milk this morning. And first things first, how good is just like savoring your coffee? Just so beautiful. But I actually said to Steve, I feel quite sad at the moment. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And I actually wanted to share those because I find online right now is evolving. Things are changing, especially with the rise of AI. There is, a lot more ChatGPT usage, and I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's a really powerful tool for people to use. And of course, then there's digital twins, and this kind of perfectly polished content is starting to emerge. And so I think the age of authenticity is upon us, and we must lean in on it more than ever so that we can actually continue to connect and stay human within this environment that is shifting and changing and moving. But the reason I was feeling sad is because business can be really lonely. And we've just come off the back of 2.5 weeks with all of our kids, and it's been so much fun. But the thing is, like, parenting can be really lonely too. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about building communities, because when we create these spaces where people feel safe and a sense of belonging and inclusion and an opportunity to sort of connect, then, they get to be part of something. And part of something is good, obviously, for adults, but like being part of something for children is really powerful too. And years ago, I decided that I was going to do this parenthood thing, with my kids. I wasn't going to leave them in rooms and do the adulting thing. And so I decided to live a very integrated life. And I've done all sorts of weird and wacky things over the years. I did a reverse maternity leave where I worked from the second that Stella was born, and then I took time off when she turned 7 months and started walking. And it was such a great thing to do because she was so, interesting and needy and actually needing me so much more when, I was able to kind of juggle things when she was like a little slug and just kind of, feeding on demand and that sort of thing. I've also taken my kids to events around the world. They've been at TED events, with thousands of people. And, the joke for me was like, these are my business babies. My business babies came along with me. And something happened the other day that made me really happy. Lola and Sienna were sitting around, they were talking about how excited they are because their friends Jazzy and Tiffany are coming along to this experience and they get to meet Laura. And there's a whole heap of other really amazing kind of tweens and kids that are coming along. And I realized that it wasn't just my community anymore, it was their community too. And that made me so proud and so happy. And I realized that, holding this space and imagining this possibility, that's lonely for me. Like, I am standing at the edge and I'm inviting people to come into this space with me. I'm saying, let's create a business retreat that's super family inclusive. Let's have wonder tracks for kids. Let's go off site into a Fijian village on jet boats and have a shared experience. Let's go off to Mala Mala and have talks that are happening around the island and bring your kids along for that. And, that's not for everyone. And I totally acknowledge that that's not for everyone, but it is for some people. And the reason I feel sad is because we actually have more rooms available than I would like at this particular point. I have run lots of sold out events over the years, and this is not one of them at that stage. And I understand why, because things are really tricky for people right now. There's a lot of intense energy in the world right now, and so people are making decisions very last minute. But the reason I feel sad is because I really feel like this is one of our best events, and I'm sad that some people will miss out on that because I have designed this to be radically inclusive and for it to be family friendly and for it to have what's, really going to prepare people for the future. I'm really big on trend spotting and helping prepare people for the future. It's what I did at Wired for Wonder for many, many years. And, I get circle back messages every day from people connecting back to me. I've had over 12,000 people attend my events over the years. So, of course, there's always someone kind of popping into my DMs and being like, oh, I just wanted to say thank you so much. And, this thing that I learned in 2016 was so relevant to me in this particular context, or I'm still thinking about that thing that I attended in 2018 and it really changed my life, or I met a friend at your event in da da da, and like we started a business together. Like I get all these amazing stories, and I just know how powerful events and experiences are when people get to come and be part of these things that we design and that we create. Um, so I totally will continue to do these because I see the why, but we've done them without any sponsorship. We've done them, we sold a tiny house to fund one of our events because we believe in it. We know that actually people can talk about, oh, the future is multi-generational, and isn't it great when intergenerational learning happens? And isn't it great when people come together and it's inclusive? Yeah, it is, but it has to be shown. Like, we can't just talk about these things. We actually have to practice them. And I often talk about community being a practice. My friend Alexis, who runs the Dovetail community, says, community is not something that you get until it's something that you do. And I firmly believe that, it is a practice. And being there for each other in different ways is one of the ways that we can kind of create that energy and that experience. So, this event is special to me on so many levels because I am holding the space for what I believe in, which is intergenerational and integrated. I think that, work-life balance is a fallacy, and I think that the only way forward is integration and holding these spaces where people who are ambitious and do want to learn and want their children to learn entrepreneurial skills and want their children to connect with other ambitious, amazing humans who are doing interesting things and build resilience and invest in like their well-being and understand the bigger picture in terms of how they can show up and have purpose and live their best lives. That's, I think, really important. And so I'm deeply passionate about holding this space for leaders, for entrepreneurs, for passionate, founders and change makers who want their kids to be part of the conversation and want their people to be part of that whole, experience. And for me, when you step into a new environment, you have the opportunity to shift your perspective, and that's where real change happens. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about hosting our events in really amazing locations, whether it's Antarctica or Fiji or Byron Bay or Uluru. Instantly, when you get on a plane and you go into a new environment, you're going to shift your perspective. And then, of course, you're connecting with other people that maybe aren't in your normal circles. So that shifts your perspective again. And then add really inspiring keynotes and workshops and amazing experiences. And you've actually got the recipe for transformation right there. And I like to then weave in, the stuff that is, evidence backed and that makes people feel like super, super great with then the soft stuff as well, like the meditation and the yoga and the well-being and the breath work. And, we did ice baths and yoga and running and all sorts of really fun stuff at our Byron Bay retreat, because I just think that holistic kind of experience is really where you not only get to experience that shift in perspective and that transformation, but you get to sustain it because you're also scaffolding your well-being, which I think is really super powerful. So this is me, raw, real, sharing where we're at. I'd really love you to come along, and I'd really love you to come along to any of our experiences. All of our experiences are curated with this amount of heart and soul and energy and attention to detail. And, we really deeply care about providing a space for you that is educational, that's inspirational, and that's scaffolding your well-being. It's super wholesome, it is family friendly, and I will continue to create those experiences because I'm really passionate about being able to bring my kids into an experience like this. And when we also do occasional adults only stuff too, because we recognize that sometimes you need a bit of downtime. We are actually hosting an experience on a Virgin Voyage next year in the Greek islands across Istanbul, and that's going to be sensational and really exciting. And keep your eye out because I do have some She Evolves staycations coming back online, because again, we recognize that alone time, a little bit of me time is really super important. And that is the EvolveX ecosystem. There are events and experiences, there's coaching, there's the mastermind, and there's an amazing opportunity to be part of a community of like-hearted people, we say. We really value diverse-minded, so we are not all like-minded. We value the fact that we have different neurosparkles and that we think differently, but there's a like-heartedness to our community. We actually feel very connected because of the values that we have. And so we 100% welcome people who think differently. And we enjoy that. That's part of what makes us all unique and special and really, really amazing. So that's it from me. I actually thought better to do this like not super polished and just from the heart. As I said, the world of AI means that you'll be bombarded with lots of really perfect content, without any ums or ahs or humanness. Is it right on cue then? Uh, so yeah, just wanted to kind of share that. But yeah, the only thing fake about this is the background. But I did think that having a beautiful kind of Fijian vibe in the background was kind of on brand and on point. So hopefully you'll forgive me for that. I'll speak to you soon. Please feel free to book a call with me. I absolutely love having discovery calls with people. It's always super valuable, whether we decide to do something together or I'm able to connect you with someone amazing. I was very generous with my network. I love being able to share relationships with people and give them opportunities to connect and play and all that sort of wonderful stuff. So yeah, feel free to book a call with me and hopefully I will see you at one of our amazing experiences. Take care. Bye.